Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to give you some handy hints if you're a fabricator and you're quoting for a job. First question is, how should you quote? Well, it depends on the job. If it's a greenfield project, greenfield meaning there's nothing there on site. It's a new structure. If it's greenfield, then you have scope for change. But if you're working with an existing structure, you have to coordinate with that structure. And that's an additional difficulty, or it's actually an opportunity, depending on how you look at it. It's a little more difficult when working with an existing structure because you have to know what is there, and there might be some hidden problems when you go there and find out. I would recommend that you quote higher when you're dealing with existing structures. What if it's a demolition job? What if they're demolishing half of it and then getting you to do something after the demolition? I think with these jobs, demolition jobs, you got to charge a little bit higher because there's more risk. Why is there more risk? Because things don't happen as you might expect, and you are dependent on uh, other factors which you can't control on your deadline. Say we were doing a demolition job just nearby. Um, it's a bit of a nightmare because things don't go well and you have to go back and forth multiple times. I think demolition jobs, unless they're super well coordinated, there's an additional risk factor if things don't go, according to plan. We had to go multiple times, do multiple site measures, and it really doesn't cover our cost because it's really expensive to go back and forth multiple times. You don't want to do it. So if you're doing a demolition job, I would recommend that you charge more, a premium, because otherwise you're going to lose your shirt. You talk to the guys on site. A lot of them are losing their shirt on this job. You don't want to lose your shirt. You want to price for your risk. Also, if you're going multiple times and this job is staged multiple times, as opposed to, for example, doing everything in one hit, say over 2, 3 weeks, as opposed to doing this over a year, then you have to, bring in steel one time and then bring it another time and another time, and then you have to fit it on site. Are you going to have equipment waiting there for you for an entire year? That's all of this is extra cost. Um, Even transport, like instead of putting everything in one batch, you'd rather break it up into 3 or 4 batches. It's expensive. It's difficult. It's a bit of a nightmare. So unless you quote accurately for these type of jobs, you'll probably lose your shirt. So generally speaking, demolition jobs or jobs working with existing structures, they're a lot harder. I mean, you got to have accurate site measures and then you got to coordinate. Then they might not give you a proper site measure. Like that job I was mentioning to you about. When you go there to site measure, there are no markers. Where are the markers? Well, why isn't this being coordinated? If there's no place where you can properly site measure, how are you going to do it? And then who's going to get the blame for the delay? Likely you. Now it's on you to fight back. You don't want to deal with all this headaches like liquidated damages. I mean, it depends on how you negotiate your contract. Hopefully you negotiate it well. But the basic point I'm trying to say is with demolition jobs or stage jobs, you have to quote higher. And also, there was another problem. There was a tarp on site. So imagine you book yourself to do a job, and then you come, and then you can't do your job because some unforeseen event happens. These things happen. It's not unusual with these type of jobs. So you gotta, in my opinion, you gotta charge a premium for that. If you don't, you might be stuck carrying the can. Why should you carry the can? Let someone else carry the can. And if they go out of business, that's their problem. Don't go out of business. Let someone else go out of business. You just stay alive. I think that's a good analogy. Is like when you're playing cricket. You don't want to get out. It's okay to miss a few balls, but if you have a swing, you could edge it. It goes to the keeper, and then you're out of the game. The name of the game is to stay alive. We've already talked about this point. Delays accrued. Another issue with risky jobs is that when there's delay for the builder too. And the question is, can the builder carry the can? A lot of the times they can't. If they can't carry the can, they will attempt to pass it on to you, and you need to have your paperwork in order. Ideally, you always want to be in front. You never want to be behind, because the second you're behind these big builders, not naming any names, but they can really screw you over. If you are behind and you don't have your paperwork in order, more builders would render fabricators and contractors insolvent, and they make them go out of business and the ATO. So you got to have your paperwork, and when things go bad, you don't want a job to go bad. So ideally, price it up front. Price it up front, and let it go to the keeper if it's just not worth the risk. I hope this video is helpful. Thank you for watching.